How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today is my 7th video. In today's video I'm gonna be talking about something a little bit different. I don't know if I'm gonna start doing this more often. You guys let me know in the comment section below if you guys want me to start doing videos like this or whatever, putting out videos for whenever they have big cards coming up. Like, basically I'm just gonna be doing like predictions, stuff like that, who I expect to win, why, and all that stuff, breaking down fights. And maybe I can do like a recap afterwards. I don't know. It's kind of like what I used to do on the podcast, but I thought I just might make this like a segment that I started doing whenever there's like a big card coming up. So of course this weekend is Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal, UFC 244 at Madison Square Garden. Kicking off the main card, I'm just gonna do the main card. Starting off, you have Kevin Lee and Gregor Gillespie. Or Gillespie, however you pronounce it. This fight is interesting because Gillespie is a very, very, very good wrestler. Probably second best behind Khabib in the lightweight division, in my opinion. But the thing is, Kevin Lee's coming off of, like, I don't know, he's coming off losing skid. I know that for sure. He might have won one here and there, but I'm pretty sure he's lost maybe close to like 3 in a row. But he did move up to TriStar recently, TriStar Gym with Faraz Sabi. I feel like that's going to be good for him. Obviously, a lot of good fighters come out of TriStar, like George St. Pierre, for example. That could be good for him, getting, especially with Faraz. He's a great coach. That could be good for him, but Gillespie's wrestling could overwhelm him. Now, Kevin Lee has a wrestling background as well, but there's just levels to grappling, and I feel like Gillespie might be on a different level than Kevin Lee. Now, the only reason where I'd give the nod, actually I shouldn't say the only reason, one reason why I'd give the nod though to Kevin Lee would be just his experience and his power that he has. He's a pretty big guy for 155. He went up and fought at 170 his last fight, I'm pretty sure. So I feel like the experience and power and strength probably of Lee might be his advantage, but overall grappling, Gillespie's better. Striking, Lee might be better. He's definitely, like I said, fought against the best people. He's fought against Tony Ferguson, Barboza, a bunch of those guys. So if I'm going to put money on it, it's going to shock some people, I'd probably say Kevin Lee, just because I feel like the experience alone, and he has a wrestling background so he can defend at least. But if Gillespie gets him down, I think it's going to be I think it really just depends on whether or not Gillespie can get him down. If Gillespie can get him down, then Gillespie wins. If not, then I'm giving it to Kevin Lee. Moving on is a heavyweight fight between Blagoy Ivanov and Derek Lewis. Now this fight's tough because Derek Lewis is he's not the most technically sound fighter, super skillful or anything like that, but he has a legit knockout power, and he can land, like in the Alexander Volkov fight last year at Madison Square Garden. He or not Madison Square Garden, it was 244, but he fought at Madison Square Garden against Cormier. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent. He knocked out Volkov with like 15 seconds left or something like that, just landed a perfect shot, knocked his mouthpiece out, knocked him out cold. So Lewis definitely has the knockout power, but I don't know, just something in me is going to go with Blagoy Ivanov. I don't know, that fight's honestly a toss-up. Lewis has a knockout power, but I feel like overall Ivanov's definitely a better fighter. He's way more well-rounded, and he's a lot more technically sound. So I'm going to give that one to Ivanov. All right, moving on to the next fight. It's a welterweight fight. Stephen Thompson versus Vicente Luque. This fight's going to be really good. Two really, really good strikers. Luque, I think, is on like a 7-fight win streak right now. I think that's like the same as Leon Edwards, or close. He's definitely on a pretty good win streak. I know that for sure. And he's an exciting fighter. I think his fight against, I don't think it's his last one, but it's definitely one of his past 3 against Brian Barberena. It was a really good fight. Went down to the wire, but overall you just saw that Luque was technically more sound, much better striker. Now Stephen Thompson is no slouch when it comes to striking either. Undefeated kickboxer, great stand-up fighter. Went 10 rounds with Tyron Woodley, went to a draw their first fight. So he's definitely legit. His striking is legit. I think I'm going to have to give the nod to Wonder Boy on this one. I just feel like he's way more experienced. He's fought the better people, and I just feel like his striking is on another level. Like I mentioned before, there's levels to this game, and I think that Stephen Thompson's striking is on a different level than Luque. I feel like Luque is very good. I feel like his time will come, but I feel like this fight he's probably going to lose. I'm going to give the nod to Thompson on this one. Moving on to the co-main event, and probably the fight that outside the main event, the fight I'm most excited about is Darren Till versus Kelvin Gastelum. Interesting fight because Till's coming up from 170, coming off of 2 losses. First loss being the title fight against Tyron Woodley, lost it due to submission. And then second fight was knockout, loss to Masvidal, who's the main event. And I think this fight's really interesting too, because Gastelum is coming off an amazing fight against Israel Adesanya, and we saw what Adesanya just did to Robert Whittaker. So for Gastelum to hang in there with Adesanya, the caliber of a striker that Adesanya is, not get knocked out. He got knocked down a lot of times, but didn't get knocked out. Definitely shows you the toughness and heart that Gastelum has, and he's got the experience of being in there with a high-level striker, and that's what Darren Till is. He's a pretty high-level striker. Now, he's not on the same level as Adesanya. I don't think there's many people in the UFC that are close to the level that Adesanya is on in terms of striking, but I do believe that Darren Till presents a lot of the same things that Adesanya did. He's got size, speed. He's moving up to 185, but I feel like he's still going to be pretty fast. He was pretty big and fast for 170, so I feel like him going up to 185 is just like his natural weight. So I feel like he'll still be fast. He's definitely going to be a lot more powerful too than Adesanya. We saw that he floored Masvidal within like the first 15 seconds of their fight after he got kicked in the balls, but he floored Masvidal like right away, within under the first minute for sure. So he's definitely got the power, he's got the speed, he's got the size. He doesn't have the grappling though, and that's where I feel like I'll give Gastelum I'm not saying he's going to win the fight off of this, but I feel like he definitely has the advantage when it comes to grappling. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and we saw that Darren Till obviously doesn't have a very, I don't want to say he has bad grappling, but it's probably not going to be able to compete with Gastelum. He got submitted by Tyron Woodley with the Darce. So that's not to say though that he hasn't worked on his grappling a bunch and definitely tweaked some of those holes in his game. But I feel like if Gastelum wants to win this fight, he would take it to the ground. But Gastelum definitely has knockout power too. But if it's just going to be a pure striking match, I feel like Till's going to win this one. I don't feel like he's going to be as depleted. His brain's not going to be drained from dehydrating himself from the weight cut. I feel like he'll be fine, and I'm probably going to give the nod to Till on this one. It's only a 3-round fight too, so they're both going to be giving it all. Especially they're both their last fights being 5 rounds, so coming down to a 3-round fight, that's going to be nice for him. They're going to be able to give it all, and that's going to be a close contender for fight of the night in my opinion. But I'm probably going to give the nod to Darren Till on this one. I want to see him do well. I want to see him bounce right back and possibly be in title contention for middleweight. That'd be really cool to see. Moving on to the main event, could possibly be fight of the year. Amazing fight, Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz. Now this fight is very, very tough because it could go one of two ways. Now we obviously know that Masvidal is crafty. He's got a very wide range of attacks and strikes and all that stuff. His arsenal, he's very creative and crafty. Now this fight is very interesting. It's going to be hard to predict because Masvidal, technically, when it comes to striking, is probably more technically sound. Combinations, he has better combinations in my opinion than Diaz. Like I said, much more technically sound when it comes to striking. Grappling wise though, Diaz is blowing Masvidal out of the water in terms of technically sound and just overall grappling. That's not to say that Nate can't keep up with Jorge's striking, because Nate is definitely a legit striker. He's got very good boxing, and he's got that pace where he's just constantly in your face, hitting you with stuff just to break up that rhythm of breathing. And I feel like if he starts going, if Jorge lets Nate start going, not that he would let him, but if he just gets tired and Nate starts teeing off, then it's gonna be really, really hard to stop Nate, because he just keeps going, And honestly, his cardio and everything gets better the more he keeps going. So I feel like the longer the fight goes on, I'm leaning more towards Nate. But I feel like knockout power Masvidal has, striking IQ Masvidal has, experience, both of them have experience. There's definitely no lack of experience. There's over 60 fights combined between both of them, probably close to 70. I can't do the math right away in my head, but there's a lot of fights combined between these guys, so the fight IQ is through the roof. It's a tough fight to call. Like I said, the more farther on in the fight it goes, I want to lean towards Diaz, but I feel like Masvidal definitely has the ability to beat Diaz and definitely the striking to beat Diaz. So if I'm putting my money on it, my heart wants to say Diaz. I want to see Diaz win. I love Nate Diaz. My heart wants Nate Diaz to win, but there's something inside of me telling me that Masvidal is going to knock him out. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, I want Nate to win, but there's something telling me that Masvidal is going to knock him out. So I'm going to say Masvidal is going to knock him out. I'm going to trust my gut. I'm going to go with Jorge Masvidal on this. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. It's going to be something quick. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys want me to start doing this more often for like big cards coming up or whatever, especially like the one in December, I think it's 245. the Volkanovski, Holloway, and Usman, Covington, that whole card stack. I'll probably do a breakdown for that and predictions. But let me know if you guys want me to start doing this more often, because I can do this more often if you guys want me to. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will catch you guys later.